going to leave that up for right now because I'm going to be showing the video. Well, I get the video out of the way before I start the lesson, so we don't have to go back to it. Okay, what we're doing here, our PBL, is like project-based learning. We do it almost every day. We have so many different domains. We have our first responder, first semester, first responder, 270 hours of pretty much all medical. That includes CPR. The second semester is all fire. So we're going to talk about the first semester information right now, which is the new AB 1719 information, the 2018 requirement for high schools to make sure that all students that graduate from high school in 2018 have hands-on only CPR. So that's what this pretty much is. Has anybody here had the regular CPR where you do 30 compressions of 2 breaths? I think everybody's certified to that level. Yeah. Now in 2018, it's going to be mandatory for all high schools to go to the no breath only CPR, which is going to be 100 to 120 times per minute. Who has the hands-on only CPR? Nobody. Perfect. Should be the guinea pigs here. Okay, I'll try not to move. I have a tendency to walk back and forth when I'm lecturing here. Okay, but for the camera, try to hold still. Basically, hands-on only CPR is a new method that's been tried out. About every 5 years, the American Heart Association does an evaluation on CPR, and it's been going back to way back when. To about 2005 was when pretty much the 30 compressions to 2 breaths. Before that, it was 5 compressions to 1 breath. So over the time it's changed. Now it's going to be no breath CPR, 100 to 120 times per minute, and that's what we're going to talk about now. That's going to be the new requirement for high school students in 2018. They have to graduate with that certification. This is not a CPR certification. It's just of how to do it. So there is no certification for no breath CPR. Okay. In the event when you start CPR and you get trained in the no breath CPR, yes, you can revert back to the old system where you give the 30 breaths. Typically, you walk into a scene. Excuse me. You're going to walk into a scene, and you're going to see your patient laying on the ground. And if you see the patient laying on the ground, however you find the patient, is basically what we do right now. We come in, see safety, make sure everything is clear, or if it's a witness collapse, where you actually see the patient drop, whether it's an infant, whether it's a child, whether it's an adult. We don't go to the checking the pulses anymore. We don't go to checking the respirations anymore. We basically look for signs of that lack of life. Basically, how they're going to train people is if the patient looks like they're not breathing, it looks like they don't have a pulse, we're going to go right to no compression CPR. Same old adage where when you start CPR, you come up to the patient, obviously they're not breathing, you're going to go ahead and get the heel of your hand, and you're going to bring it back over the nipple line, about 2 inches above, 2 fingers above the sternum, 2 inches here. You come over here with the heel of your hand. You grasp your fingers, and this is where a lot of people have a tendency to leave their hand down here, which we don't want to do. What we'd like to do, we'd like to go ahead and get the 2 fingers right over the sternum, get your fingers, and pull them back. So all you have is the heel of your hand touching the patient, about right here. And then you start to use your compression. The compression, you heard that song, Staying Alive? Do, Staying Alive. So that's the song that they use to kind of match your speed and the momentum of your breath. Now, if you look at the angle of my back itself, you don't want to be doing this, because you won't last very long. What you like to do, you want to make sure you have your arms straight, heel of your hand on the sternum, with your fingers, lock your fingers in, pull your hand back so that only the heel of the hand is basically coming in contact with the sternum. You're going to compress the chest. The old adage was 2.5 inches. The new adage now is 2 inches. Try to get at least a 2-inch compression. Get over the patient, and keep your back. Keep your arms straight. Tell my arms are straight. Keep your arms straight, and you rock your body at the waist. This they have found out you will last a lot longer doing CPR. If you stay in this momentum, you'll stay a lot longer doing CPR. Okay? And that's pretty much the form. The form you want to take when you're doing CPR. 2 fingers, heel on hand, bring it back, and you start your compressions. Okay, so that's pretty much what we're going to talk about. In the event you get help, somebody comes in to help you, you can go ahead, hey, I know CPR, can I help? Yeah, go ahead. You can switch over, you can go ahead and switch. Typical time to be doing CPR by yourself, if you have a partner, is 2 minutes. You wanna go at least 2 minutes doing CPR by yourself, then you go ahead and switch. In the event you have somebody coming in with a mask, then you can go ahead, hey, let's switch over to 32, let's do 32 compressions. 30 compressions, 2 breaths. You can switch over to that if you have a mask, okay? Or if you wanna take on, or you wanna breathe into the patient's mouth. A lot of people don't like to do that. Studies have found that people are more likely to start compressions if they don't have to breathe. Also, they found out that any compressions is better than no compressions. So if you're on the scene and the patient drops, people are more likely to want to do no breath CPR if they know they don't have to breathe into the patient. They're more likely to go ahead and start it and start compressions because they know they don't have to breathe into the patient. Okay. Now, what happens is, as you compress the chest, even though we're not breathing into a patient, you kind of create a little draft there. When you compress on the chest, and that basically stimulates the heart, and you bring it back up, that'll keep the blood circulating, to support the brain and all vital organs, and the lungs also. When you come up, basically create a draft, you create a vacuum where you're getting a little bit of air in. It's better to get a little bit of air than no air at all. So that's why they went to the no breath CPR, because it's better starting CPR than not starting CPR. You will get a little bit of air just on the vacuum. Okay? Okay, and if you have a mask, power to you. And then if somebody comes in with an AED, hey, I have an AED, you want to switch over to AED, go ahead, hook up the AED, and go ahead and stand back. I'm clear, you're clear. It's going to analyze, and it's going to say shock patient. You shock patient, you stand back. Okay? Yes?
Yeah, the last CPR class I took was that they specifically said, it's like, you send someone to call 911 and you send someone to find the AED.
Yep.
Because the faster you get the AED on them, the more information you get. And so it's
Right.
like, as soon as you get the AED in there, you stop immediately.
Yeah, and that's
still
I'm just gonna
the
get to
case?
that. One thing you want to do is, okay, I just gave you the procedure, but as you're walking into a room, you want to go ahead and, hey, call 911. Have somebody activate the 911 system. You go ahead and start your compressions. But definitely, you want to call 911.
Yeah, is it still the case though to get the AED as quick as you can too? If there's
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah, as far as the statistics, the old adage, the old information we got, typically about 90% of the patients that were witnessed arrest, they went down and nobody did anything and they got into it later. Pretty much it was 90% failure rate.
Yeah.
It wasn't that high rate. With doing CPR, witness arrest, people start compressions, it went up to about 32 to 40%. So it's gone up a little bit. And there's actually still this is the only kind of CPR they're still working on. They're still working on different types that work. Right now, this is going to be, we went from 5 to 1, we went from 30 to 2, now we're going to no breath CPR. Who knows what will be next. I mean, about every 5 years is a cycle where the process changes, because how many times have we taken a CPR class, and almost every time we take it is different. Okay? So what we have to do is, you realize that somebody's not breathing, please call 911. I'll be doing CPR, and hopefully there's a typically we get a 5 to 6 minute response time for paramedics, ambulance, firefighters to get there, public safety crew to get there. There's about a 5 to 7 minute window there. You're going to be there by yourself for a little while. Yeah.
So I know this is a training to help somebody else, but what about if that happens to a person and if herself and is choking or something like that?
Okay, dealing with choking, that's a whole different subject matter.
But still,
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get Heimlich. We can talk about the Heimlich maneuver later. You can talk about the chest thrust, the abdominal thrust, but I like to just focus on the no compression CPR right now.
okay.
Also, with this, what we're trying to do it ourselves here at the school. If we can train all the students, how to do no-hand CPR, that's more people that get trained. Our goal as instructors, we'd like to train our class, the AM and PM class, we like to train them, and that's what our PBL is, training our students to teach the class. And I'll show you a rubric in a minute of basically an evaluation. You have an acceptable, standard, unacceptable process that a student has to go through, and high proficiency. We like to be at high proficiency, preferably before they start teaching. It's a 30-minute process to get them taught, and evaluated, and hopefully, if we get them through we be able to use them as instructors, we can go ahead and schedule the other classes we have, however many classes we have here. We can go ahead and schedule them. We were planning on March 1st to March 1st, 2nd, and possibly 3rd. But that's still pending. So that was our goal. We'll see if it happens. Okay, but that's our goal. Okay, I'd like to show you a little video. This is one of the videos that we will be using as a demo for the students so they can see, okay, show me how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Kind of explain to me what's going on. So this is the video I'm going to show them. This will be part of their training.
Teen or adult suddenly collapse, it's important to act fast. Helping to save a life is easier than you might think. Just start hands-only CPR. The first step is to send someone to call 911 or call 911 yourself.
I'll stay on the phone with you until help arrives.
Then get directly over the victim. Put the heel of one hand in the center of the chest. Then put your other hand on top of the first.
I need you to do it this fast. 1, 2, 3,
Then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives.
11, 12, 13, 14,
See the
It's
posture she's
important
got
to
right
push
there.
at a rate of at least 100 beats per minute.
20, 21.
Let's hope you never have to use hands-only CPR. But if you see a teen or adult suddenly collapse, don't be afraid to try it. Remember, call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Your actions can help save a life.
Okay, you take that off, Oscar. We'll put open up the folder. Go ahead, get that totally out of the internet. The folder, open up the first file.
Rubik's?
No, next one.
Okay, hands in the
Yeah, the
skeleton.
Rubik's one, that's fine.
Okay, let me just check the. That's the.
Okay, that's the handout that everybody has right now. We don't need to show that, we don't need to show that.
Okay, so that's, Rubik's is not there.
Will the Rubik's pop up?
It's a short, it was a shortcut.
We don't need to keep, open up the Rubik's, see if it'll,
It's not working.
there you go. No, anyway, it's gonna be showing what it was gonna show was a Rubik, what's unacceptable, what's standard, and what's high proficiency. And we want to try to get our students to high proficiency, to teach to a high proficiency level. Okay. And hopefully, we get done. Senate bill will be required in 2018. And basically, we're going to make sure either we do it, or the high schools do it, or we do it congruently with both schools, so we'll see what happens. Any questions?